Yeah, that's good. I don't see anything. All I'm hearing out there is everyone's real busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scott's just running a few minutes late.
That's fine. It's going to be a pretty quick pre-meeting.
Very, very light agenda.
Can't get much lighter.
That's true.
Right. It's a little more easygoing than the council meeting last night.
Mm-hmm.
So
Say that again, Melissa.
it's a little lighter than the council meeting last night.
Oh my God. That was something.
Yeah.
I guess we make irresponsible decisions.
Can't make everyone happy.
Yeah, I know. Did you see that, Rob?
No, I don't. I quit watching these things. I don't watch the news anymore either. I'm done.
I
My
hear
life
that for sure.
I'm just busy at work, and now my life is just normal.
Yeah.
I'm going to southern Wisconsin, Larry, next
Are you
week.
really?
Next week.
I'm going to Florida in January.
I'm going to Puerto Rico for Christmas.
Are you?
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, the family decided to get out of town rather than do the normal. We've had a couple bad things happen in the family, so everybody wants to just get away.
Really?
Yeah. And hey, Larry, I don't know if you knew Allison's dad, Tom Mackay, Smitty, the phone company.
Yeah.
He passed away last week.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Hey, what's that behind you, Larry?
That's my new spout.
I thought that's what I saw there.
Yeah, I painted the outskirts. It's a rock waterfall in the back.
Oh, wow.
Well, how come you're not in the hot tub for the Zoom meeting?
Yeah, it could be. Could
Just
be.
put your laptop right on the edge of the unit.
All right. No, this is probably my last meeting, so I want to be official.
Yep. Things are looking like it's going to change a bit around here.
Eh. And I swear, I have.
When I first started
I know.
Brandon, every time I go there, I talk, I'm like, let's see, how are we on Victoria's Secret?
I remember when we did the training, I was like, Victoria's Secret. Sorry. I know, yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna make sure how and every time they go into the right one, they're actually here.
Hey Mel, it's Tony. How does that sound? Does it sound better?
You're still pretty echoey.
Okay, give me one sec.
Oh. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Hi, Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Hi, Scott.
No problem. We don't have a whole lot tonight. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll call the pre-meeting work session to order. And now's the time if we have any questions for our staff members on our one agenda item that we have tonight.
All right, I'm gonna do roll call real quick. Chair Perth,
Here.
Co-Chair Marsh,
Here.
Commissioner Huber,
Here.
Commissioner Wells,
Here,
Commissioner Harriman.
Here.
Oh, Bob, you sound much better.
Okay, great.
And Melissa, was that roll call for the pre-meeting, right?
Yes,
And then we'll have roll call again on the regular meeting?
yes.
Okay, just checking. Just a reminder for during the meeting, the invocation is assigned to Commissioner Wells and Pledge of Allegiance, Commissioner Huber.
So are we ready to ask some questions?
Oh, I didn't know if you guys could hear me. I had already asked if we, if there's any comments or questions on, agenda item number 1, our only item.
I have a couple. I went by the location today and it's in pretty sad shape, of course. But a couple things, and they may be addressed in the plan, but there's quite a few trees that are extremely overgrown. They've knocked over the fence, and one of them sticking out in the alley. I could barely drive down through the alley. Are those going to be removed or incorporated? I mean, they can't be incorporated into the new landscaping.
Right now, we currently have conditions 9 through 11. I don't believe they specifically call out the removal of existing trees. I can make a mental note of that and put a note in the case that when the landscape plan comes in that we review that. Or we can go ahead and add that to the conditions related to landscape.
Yeah, I think you should probably add that, Scott. These trees are growing right on the fence. So they've, and obviously they're 50, 60, 70-year-old trees. So they've been let go for quite a while. And like I said, the alley's blocked. The other side on the south side of the alley, they're actually growing over and on the roof, leaning on the roof of that other structure. And then there's a couple of them out front on 6th Street that are growing right. They've leaned the chain link fence over onto the adjoining property.
Okay.
I know the plan addresses the fencing being changed to wrought iron.
Yes.
So, I mean, it would be pretty obvious the trees need to come out to do that. But and then one more thing, the wall in the front at the city sidewalk is also structurally not capable of holding back the elevation. It's leaning and cracked up. That's going to have to get replaced. It's a retaining wall out front with the steps.
Yes, off of 6th Street.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd recommend that you bring up those points in the public hearing.
Okay.
And if you defer to me, I can wordsmith up some conditions that we can add to the recommendation. I just want to follow your lead that you want those added, and then I could state those on the record.
Yeah, if that's your intent, Commissioner Harriman, please bring it up in the meeting, and then that way we could have further dialogue and discussion, and possibly maybe the applicant would be able to testify as well.
Okay, cool. I just, I thought I'd just mention it before we go out there.
Sorry to interrupt. Commissioner Harriman, you'll just need to, before we open the public hearing, just disclose that you made a site visit prior.
Okay. Tara, is that wrong for me to do?
It's not against, wrong, I guess, isn't the best term to use. It's often not best because it could influence your decision, as in this case, you know some things about it that you can't pull from the record in front of you. That's why it's important for you to make the disclosure and to see that it doesn't, everybody knows what you know, and then.
Right. Well, I think it would be to use a word they used last night, I think it would be kind of irresponsible just to approve this when you have walls leaning and all kinds of stuff that really aren't addressed, in the description of the existing property.
Right, and as long as you make clear, how you came by that information, that it's not unduly influencing you in some in some improper way, that's fine. But otherwise, like if everybody starts visiting, I know it is counterintuitive, but the rule is that's why you disclose it. It's not that you can't, it's just you
Okay.
need to disclose.
Okay.
And if for some reason what you saw or someone that talked to you actually did influence you in some undue way, and that you felt like you really couldn't be fair, then you might have to do something else. I'm not really certain
Okay.
we're
Yeah,
at
I
that
didn't,
juncture.
I didn't talk to anybody. There's nobody there, and I did not get out of my vehicle. I just did a drive-by through the alley and then on 6th Street.
Mhm. Yeah, it's just important to say that actually went there and looked.
Okay.
And that is what you saw.
Okay. All right.
Then everybody knows how you got the information, and then everybody has the same information that you have.
Okay.
Okay, and we're going to continue that conversation in about 1 minute because I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to welcome everybody to the Planning Commission meeting. And I will call this meeting to order, and I'll ask for roll call, please.
All right, Chair Kurth,
Here.
Vice Chair Marsh,
Here.
Commissioner Wells,
Here,
Commissioner Huber,
Here.
Commissioner Harriman.
Here.
All right,
Okay. At this time, we'll start with the invocation, which will be led to us by Commissioner Wells, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Huber. If you please rise.
Dear Lord, our Heavenly Father, we ask that you guide the Victorville Planning Commissioners and staff through today's agenda, that we make effective and valuable decisions for the residents and businesses of Victorville. I pray this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Do we have a flag there somewhere?
I have one virtually displayed on the screen.
Okay, well, yes, okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a set of minutes from the last meeting that we need to deal with.
Chairman Kurtz, I'll move to approve the minutes of the special meeting October 21st as written.
I'll second that.
All right, so I have a motion by Commissioner Huber, a second by Vice Chair Marsh to approve the minutes as conditioned. I'll take a roll call vote. Chair Kurth,
Aye.
Vice Chair Marsh,
Aye.
Commissioner Wells,
Aye.
Commissioner Huber,
Aye.
and Commissioner Harriman.
Aye.
Minutes
Okay.
are approved.
Okay, thank you. With that, we can move on to agenda number 1, the 4-unit multifamily residential complex.
Thank you, Chairman Kurth. Item number 1 is case PLAN 20-00019. It is a site plan with an environmental exemption to allow for the reconstruction of a partially existing non-conforming 4-unit multifamily residential complex within Old Town specific plan. This is located at 15436 6th Street. The applicant's bringing this request forward after 3 of the 4 units burnt down in 2019. The applicant submitted this proposal since they'd like to rebuild the site that has experienced more than 50% of damage to the existing structures. Our code requires planning commission approval for these type of rebuilds when they do not comply with current city standards and codes. Given that this project's within the Old Town specific plan, there's two specific standards that they were unable to achieve. One is the minimum density within the underlying district of the Old Town requires 16 units per acre. And what they're proposing to rebuild at is only equal to about 8 units per acre. The density, however, though, is not a detriment to the surrounding area. The 4-unit complex is comparable to the density of the existing development that surrounds it. Also, the other requirement that they were unable to meet is for new construction, the first floor units are required to have an orientation towards the street with like a forecourt, some type of entry that's kind of pedestrian friendly. So 2 of the units have that entry point, but the 3rd unit on the building that has been burned to the ground, and also the accessory building in the back that will be retrofitted does not have that orientation towards the street. So the two minor deviations that they're requesting your leniency on. But as far as the improvements that they're doing to the site, the project's required to have a landscape plan, bring back the, as Commissioner Harriman noted, that the site is in decay, it hasn't been maintained in a while. So this action will allow staff to ensure that they put in landscaping. They're also conditioned for their trash receptacles, the barrel service that they'll have to be screened behind a fence. They also are providing additional parking, including 2 covered carports. So the facility, the 4-unit facility will have the proper off-street parking requirements of 8 parking stalls, 4 of which will be covered. So with that, I'm available if you have any questions, but our staff recommendation would be that the commission find the project categorically exempt under section 15303B of the California Environmental Quality Act, entitled New Construction or Conversion of Small Structures, and adopt resolution number P-20-038, approving the site plan case number PLAN 20-0019, subject to the attached conditions of approval.
Thank you. Does the commission have any questions of staff at this time?
I'd like to note that I have visited the location.
Okay. Then with that, I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing for public testimony. Do we see anyone here that wants to speak tonight?
If you're wanting to speak on this item, please raise your hand and we will go ahead and unmute you. I don't have anyone raising their hand, but I did receive 2 emails for public comment for this item.
Do you want to read those to us? Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So I have 2 planning department. My comments for this project is about my concern about the parking. In general, when apartments are built, the lack of parking spots to the project are left to the back of the bus and are not dealt with. For example, on a 4-plex, developers want to build as much as they can on a small lot, but parking lot are a hassle later on down the road. I highly suggest that you revisit the project and make sure there are going to be enough parking spots. I really appreciate the time to read these comments. If you have any questions, please let me know. He provided his phone number, or excuse me, she provided her phone number, and it's regards Shauna Renteria. So the second email is verbatim the same, except this one is from Francisco Renteria. Tara, do
Okay.
you think I need to reread the second email?
No, if it's exactly the same.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So then, if that's it for public testimony, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing portion and then bring this back to the commission so we can discuss some of the things Commissioner Harriman brought up and anything else that we may have to discuss to lead us to a determination.
Do I need to recite those?
Just if you could just give a quick little recap of what you had a couple of concerns there, and
Okay.
then maybe we can discuss a little more if those are in the conditions or if something different needs
Okay.
to be done, or if we leave it up to staff judgment.
Okay. There's some existing landscaping, trees that are growing right on the fence line, and they've compromised the fencing. One of them is, or actually a couple of them in the back at the alley, had the alley partially blocked. And I think those trees should be removed. And any of the other trees that are growing right on the fence, there are some on the north side also that have leaned the chain link fence over onto the adjoining property. And my other concern is the retaining wall at the front of the location on 6th Street is not to code, and it's been compromised. It's cracked up, it's leaning, and I would deem it unsafe. And I would recommend that all the wrought iron fencing should sit on maybe a single layer of block with a footing. So that kind of thing doesn't happen again. That's all I have.
Hey, Scott, if something like that was to be added, to a motion to confirm, how would that be handled? Is there any input from staff as to these things may normally be handled through the, the inspections as construction goes on, or is it something that we need to call out in the motion for the resolution?
Sure, it's an additional check for staff if we add them to the conditions of approval. So based on the comments that I heard Commissioner Harriman state, we could add to staff's recommendation if the Planning Commission approves the project to add a condition. Had a few additional conditions. The first two that I heard were that there would be the removal of overgrown and dead trees on site and or trees that conflict with other improvements on the site, subject to the zoning administrator's approval. These trees that are selected to be removed shall be noted on the landscape plans. Added condition number 2 would be to ensure, applicant shall ensure the wall is structurally sound, subject to the review of the city's building official. Particularly, this is the wall abutting 6th Street. And then lastly, I heard a new comment, Commissioner Harriman. It sounded like you said that you would recommend that the wrought iron fencing that would be installed would be installed on top of a low CMU wall. Is that right? A solid masonry wall?
Yes.
Okay. So those would be that third condition. It would be more aesthetic. Currently, there is a condition or call out on the plans for wrought iron fencing. It just doesn't have a footing detail or a combo wall, I guess is what Commissioner Harriman's calling out. But that can be added as well.
And I would call for that. A big reason also is the lot is at a different elevation than the adjoining properties. So to retain that, the wrought iron should sit on something that's going to retain those change in elevations.
Okay, so with that, I would suggest that the third added condition would be that where the wrought iron fence is installed on a slope area requiring retaining, that a combo wall would be installed subject to the review of the building official.
I was just curious on that third one when it comes to the wrought iron. I'm wondering if that is solely an aesthetic call right there, or if that is something that would have needed to be done, because wouldn't have staff wanted to put that in a condition if retaining was needed between the lots in the first place?
Yeah, I know that they're putting in some new wrought iron fencing along some of the interior property lines. So, and that's to replace some chain link or fence that was never existing. Having a footing does kind of make it a little bit more complicated because they may have to deal with an adjacent property owner. But yeah, I don't have a plan in front of me that shows the topography to show that if there was a slope issue. But we can determine that by the condition that I stated, that if there was a slope issue, we could have that wall there to help keep the existing dirt in place. But to answer your question, you can put a wrought iron fence on any slope. It's just as far as the ongoing maintenance of it. Commissioner Harriman brought up that, yeah, there could be some additional erosion or due to traffic. If they had a dog or something near it, it could erode away and leave gaps in the fencing.
Okay. There was oh, go ahead.
I can ask the question. So that third recommendation is, so we can approve it as it is stated, and then staff follows up as the project or as the builders rebuilding this are doing that? Is that how that happens? I'm not sure.
Yes. Yes. So this project will need to obtain building permits. So the approval of the project will require us to compare those conditions of approval with the plans that they're trying to get permits for. So that's when we'll review their landscape plan. At that point, if this additional conditions added regarding the overgrown trees, we will evaluate that and make sure that it's noted on their plans, that they're removing the trees that are overgrown, that conflict with other improvements or are dead on site. So that condition of approval gives staff the roadmap to ensure that those items are complied with.
Okay, thank you.
I have one quick question, Scott. I was looking at this map, I guess of the project and stuff, because one of the correspondent emails that we received was stating adequate parking. Now I counted, because I was using my magnifying glass. That's why I was kind of all bent over while everybody was talking. I was using my magnifying glass. Is there 8 how many parking stalls, or
yes, on
more
page,
than that?
Yes, on page 21 of the agenda, I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen so everyone can see this. This is the site plan that's proposed, and there is a total of 4 proposed uncovered parking stalls on a concrete pad that would be accessed from 6th Street. And then there's an existing detached garage that's accessed from the alley. Added to that will be a new covered carport for 2 additional stalls. So yes, there's a total of 4 covered stalls here that access from the alley, 4 uncovered stalls which access 6th Street. That would make it compliant with our off-street parking requirements for multifamily, which requires two stalls per unit. One of them needs to be covered.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions from commissioners regarding this project? Okay, seeing none, we'll, I think we can look for a motion on this one.
I'll make the motion that we accept the recommendation of staff on case PLAN 20-00019 with additional 3 recommendations.
I'll
Second.
second that.
And before we vote, would it be okay if we just got one quick overview on those 3 recommendations? Just how it's going to be close in the resolution?
Sure. So there would be added conditions within the site plan resolution. The first added condition would be that the applicant remove the overgrown and dead trees on site or trees that conflict with other site improvements, subject to the approval of the zoning administrator. The removal of these trees shall be noted on the required landscape plan. Added condition number 2 would be that the applicant ensure that the wall fronting 6th Street is structurally sound, subject to the review of the city's building official. And lastly, wrought iron fencing that's placed near slopes shall include a combo wall detail, which includes solid masonry units along the bottom with a footing.
Okay, thank you. So yes, we have a motion and a second now.
Right, so I got a second from Larry. Does that sound? I
Yes.
know we got, okay. So we have a motion by Commissioner Wells with a second by Commissioner Huber to recommend case PLAN 20-00019 for approval with the 3 additional recommendations that City Planner Webb just described. I'll take a roll call vote. Chair Kerr,
Aye.
Vice Chair Marsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Wells,
Aye.
Commissioner Huber,
Here, aye.
Commissioner Harriman,
Here. I mean, oh.
Contagious.
item has passed.
Okay,
Oh.
Thank you.
Good job, Bob.
All right, at this time, in case there's anybody here that would like to speak to the Planning Commission on any items that fall within our subject matter jurisdiction, now would be the time. Do we see anyone here that would like to speak to the commission?
If you'd like to speak, please raise your hand. Let's give them a few more moments. I'm not showing anyone with a raised hand.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so then with that, we'll reports by commissioners. We can start with Commissioner Wells. Do you have anything to report?
No, just as a reminder, remain safe with the virus growing. Do your best for Thanksgiving holiday.
Thanks. Vice Chair Marsh.
No, just have a happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I do have one thing. I'll be very quick about it. There was a statement, I guess, brought up in the city council regarding the planning commission as far as, I guess, lack of attention or whatnot on a certain item. And I commend. I think that the planning commission, including myself, I mean, we do a very good job. And we do take every matter before us seriously, and we make decisions based on the recommendations of staff. As a planning commission, as a group, and as a, I don't think that we try to put personal input or we try to broaden the scope of the decisions that we make. And that's a good thing because it keeps everything in fairness to not only the applicant, but everybody, everybody that's involved, which is the city and stuff. So, we're a serious body and we've acted in a serious manner on everything brought forth. And I just wanted to kind of I wanted to say that because it did kind of hit me rather hard when I heard that and stuff. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Yeah, good points. Thank you for that. Commissioner Huber.
Yeah, I got a 20-minute speech here.
Okay, go ahead.
This is my last meeting. I have a concern tonight about attorneys saying that we shouldn't look at projects. I've been on the Plan Commission for 25, 30 years. I went out and looked at any major project that we had just to keep staff honest and up and up. I went out today on this one. So I don't know where staff or where the attorney says we shouldn't go out and look at a project. Anyway, that's over. I've done it for 25 years. I want to thank everybody putting up with me for these years. I think the Victorville Planning Commission over the 25, 30 years that I've been on has done one hell of a great job. We never fought with each other. We never argued with each other. We disagreed. We come to a conclusion. We made a decision. And over the last 25, 30 years, I think that Victorville is way ahead of any other community in the area. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Larry. Commissioner Harriman.
A couple of things. First of all, I don't want anyone to think I'm not pro-growth. I'm not trying to be negative about the project. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that things done down there. And then my other thing is the new car dealership at the old Target being built. All the landscaping is already dead. They planted all those big palm trees and they're all dead. And I just, when we do things, especially a big project like that, it really reflects in our city when people drive by on Highway 18 through our city and they see a brand new project going on. And to be honest with you, it looks like crap. I mean, it really does look terrible. And if I'm correct, there's a Palmdale Road corridor landscaping plan, and this place does not conform to that, on top of the fact everything they planted is dead. So if the building department inspector could maybe address that when they do an inspection, a final inspection. But I'm very disappointed in the way that thing looks as I drive by. That's it.
Okay. Thanks.
And again, I'm not trying to be a negative person, just trying to do what I think's best for our city.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, something that Larry just said. Am I understanding that there will be a new commission come December?
I was going to ask that as well, Commissioner Wells. So that was going to be my question to maybe Scott to say at this point with what Larry brought up, knowing that there could be a couple or even more changes on this commission. What's your best guesstimate is when and how that would happen, Scott?
Yeah, so Commissioner Huber's comments, I want to thank him for his service, but not so fast. You can't leave that quick. Our municipal code does allow for the automatic extension of a planning commissioner's term for 90 days until such time as the council appoints new commissioners. I would ask you, Commissioner Huber and Commissioner Kurth and Commissioner Marsh, that you stay on board. I'll keep you appraised of the timing of when the new council, once they're seated, of the approximate timing of when they plan to nominate and hopefully gain an appointment of a new commissioner. But this extension of time, this 90-day extension of time allows us to keep quorum, allows us to keep operating with our monthly meetings. So I would ask that of you. I'm not expecting a response tonight, but please reach out to me if this really is your last meeting, or if you have other questions, because we would like to give everyone a proper goodbye. But this 90 days could last obviously into March. It's my understanding that the council could possibly be seated December 8th, which means that your term could extend up to March 8th of the new year. But again, we'll keep you appraised of even the application process. If the council chooses to advertise the ability of people in the community to submit resumes for the commission, if you're still interested, you'd have that opportunity. But nonetheless, we would hope that you'd want to stay on so we could continue business and make sure that we have a quorum.
All right.
All right, thank you, Larry.
Okay, that's a good point. So then with that, is there any other further reports or any kind of updates from staff members?
Just Commissioner Harriman's statement. Yeah, I do recommend if any of you see anything out in the community to let staff know. Commissioner Harriman's brought that to our attention. We do make sure that when we do a final inspection, with this project hasn't had a final inspection, that trees or other improvements are properly maintained. This subject property has already been noticed of their deficiencies. So we'll make sure that it's looking good before they final the project. And then even after that, obviously code enforcement could pick up where we leave off for the ongoing maintenance of any site in the city.
Okay, anything else? Okay, then that's it. Thank you all. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanks, you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Merry Christmas.
Morgan?
Merry Christmas.
All right, good night, everybody.